Welcome to the fifth phase and final module of the Kaizen system. Today, we're going to learn about the results 5, the 5 things you should do when you complete the continuous improvement cycle and you've completed a project and it's time to wrap everything up. We're going to teach you how to do that right now. The Kaizen system has 5 phases. And the most important one may just be this last phase, because this is where you're going to get your team excited and engaged about the results that they got. And you're going to start creating the energy and excitement for the next step. What are we going to go work on next? As you might expect with the results 5, there are 5 different steps and activities during the results 5 phase. Number 1, report out on your focus KPI. Number 2, recognize and reward your team. Number 3, reflect on what you could do better. Number 4, repurpose the project and the ideas and the learning that you got. And 5, raise the bar. As soon as you're done with your project, set a date for a formal report out. You want to get the leadership there, the teams there that were affected, people that knew about the project. You want to try to pull as big of a crowd as you can for the report out, because this is where you're going to create the excitement around the success that you've had and the future work that you're going to do. A good report out is around 15 minutes, doesn't take a lot of people's time. You can do it online, on a web meeting, on a Zoom call. It doesn't matter as long as you get people to attend so they can see the project. This is an incredible opportunity for your team to get recognized in front of their peers, in front of their boss, for the hard work they've put into doing a continuous improvement project. Use the DMAIC report out template. This is the easiest way to make sure that you have a step-by-step logical approach to solving the problem that you went out to tackle in the first place. And it has all the tools and templates that you need right inside the PowerPoint so that you can clearly explain every technique that you use to solve and get to the root cause of the problem. If you've signed up for one of our courses and you're watching this, you should be able to access the template in your account and download the template to use, or you can get it from our website. As part of that report out template, you should have a slide for the project benefits. The project benefits should be a place where you stop during your report out and really drive the point home that the project you worked on directly impacted a key performance indicator that was important to the company. And you should be able to show how improving that KPI saved the company money or allowed it to generate more revenue by increasing capacity, or helping with employee retention, helping with employee safety, helping with customer satisfaction, right? So cost, quality, delivery, employee satisfaction, customer satisfaction, those are all some of the main metrics that we're often looking to improve with process improvement projects. If you're not familiar with how to calculate project savings, go to the project savings and project benefit module and watch that, and I'll step you through how to calculate the project cost and the benefits of your continuous improvement project. As a quick reminder, the main categories of improvement come in terms of hard savings, soft savings, and increases in revenue. So again, you're either increasing your company's revenue or capacity to generate revenue, or you're lowering costs, and those are material costs, labor costs. Those are hard savings. The other thing that you're interested in is soft savings, like in making a better work environment for your employees, a better experience for your customers. Those things may be sometimes harder to translate into hard dollars or hard savings, but they're very important nonetheless. Hard savings, again, you're looking at your OEE metrics, your performance, your throughput to goal. What's your capacity based on your throughput? How good is your on-time delivery? You're looking at equipment availability and uptime, which increases your capacity to run and lowers your cost per unit. You're looking at your yield. So is your quality getting better? Are you doing less scrap and rework? If you can improve any of those areas, you're definitely getting a hard savings. Also, if you can reduce inventory, shrinking the amount of material you're holding in your warehouse, or even the amount of work in process, those are real tangible savings because you have less cash tied up, and you can calculate that through a weighted average cost of capital, or simply a free cash calculation by showing how much money you've freed up. Again, there's more detail on this in the project benefit module. If you don't want to jump over to the project benefit module, I will give you the 6 steps of calculating project savings now. Number 1, start with the improvements you've made. Did you improve the flow? Did you improve the yield? Did you improve equipment uptime? Quantify each of those improvements. Try to measure it exactly. And if you've done your data collection right in the measure phase and the analyze phase, you definitely should have a before and after data set to compare what the impact was. Translate that impact to the KPI into dollar savings. So if you increased throughput by a certain amount or decreased scrap by a certain amount, you should be able to turn that into a dollar savings. Finally, analyze those savings into 12 months. So whatever savings you get to count those savings for 12 months, and then that becomes the new baseline. Make that improvement visible to management. So you want to plot on a chart the before state and the after state of that metric so management can easily see where those dollar savings came from. And finally, make sure your team sees those charts and recognizes the impact they had to the KPI as well. So back to this nice picture here, you can see on the chart behind these gentlemen how their metric was much higher before their Kaizen and dropped significantly after their Kaizen event. This is what I mean by making your data visual. This is an awesome reminder and a way to showcase to management that their project had an impact on the business. After your project's over, make sure you put the follow-up steps in place. Use the control plan, go to the control plan module and watch that, or look at the Kaizen idea card module to look at the steps on the back of the Kaizen idea card. You want to make sure you follow these steps so that your project doesn't start to roll backwards and people start going back to doing the process the old way. If you remember this chart here, we want that continuous improvement PDCA cycle to stay where we moved it to, further up the hill of progress and not roll back. That's an important activity to be doing in the results 5 phase. And that brings us to step 2, recognize. You want to recognize your team for the incredible job that they've done. Here are a few ways that you can recognize your team after the project's over. First of all, personal recognition. Go talk to each person on your team and let them know that you appreciate whatever they contributed to the project and the hard work and time they put into it. If you're personal about it, they will recognize that you are sincere, and that will create a bond between the two of you as well as a mutual appreciation. Number 2, team recognition. Recognize them for the team effort that they put into this and do that in front of the team. So everybody recognizes that they did a good job as a group. Number 3, give your team company recognition. Make sure during your report out that other people are present, and maybe you record the report out and send it out in an email so everybody can see a video showing the report out. And that way your team gets recognition from lots of people across the organization, and that recognition will go a long ways to helping them feel appreciated and like they have a place and a home at your company. And the 4th one is really interesting. This is one that people don't often think of, but family recognition. Outside of work, we have a whole nother life. We have people that care for us. We have spouses and children and extended family and a community. If you can, find a way to let the families of the people on your team know what a great job they did. Again, maybe record the presentation and send it home with them. Try to get their email addresses and send it in an email. Maybe you have the families come in to a continuous improvement fair or an employee recognition day and let the spouses or children see their mom or dad and the amazing work that they're doing and how much they're appreciated. If you take the extra effort to do family recognition, this will be the highest return on investment during the recognized stage. This is where you get, extreme loyalty from your people because they really appreciate it and their families appreciate it. Here's a pro tip. If you're going to give someone recognition, do it in a way that's personal, meaningful, and that they really feel like you care about them and that you notice them. The way you do this is by giving them feedback on specific activities and behaviors that they exhibited during the project. So instead of just saying, good job, like you see on the screen here, right? Instead, replace that with, hey, great job. I noticed how you got your project done on time. That was amazing. Or, excellent work working with the rest of the team and getting ideas out of other people on the team that were a little more shy. I noticed that you really helped them pull their ideas out. Thank you for that. Or, thank you for being so creative and coming up with new ideas that nobody else had thought of during the project. The more specific you can be when you give people feedback, the more they know that you are paying attention to them, and your feedback will feel and be sincere, which is a lot more powerful and it will reinforce those positive behaviors that you saw in that person. They'll be much more likely to do those behaviors again. Should we recognize people or reward them, or both? Well, my opinion is we should 100% do both. So the statistics you see on the screen here show survey results of hundreds of employees. And what you can see is the vast majority really do value praise from their peers. They value a fun work environment. They value having their contributions recognized by their boss. So that is so, so important. Now, at the same time, I love giving people gift cards. I love giving them $10, $20, something that they can go and use, take home to their family. Their spouse gets to see and recognize them for the good work that they've done. You just can't go wrong. I've given away a ton of prizes to people. I've given away, shirts and jackets and t-shirts and polos, and we've given away grills. One of my favorite things to give away as a reward are dinner nights, dinner and a movie. So I'll give people movie tickets and a dinner coupon certificate and let them go have a wonderful night with their family. I'm a fan of doing both, and people love to get gifts and they love to get recognition. So it's going to help your company either way. You're going to get a huge return on that investment. Celebrate with your team. You should throw a pizza party. Absolutely. Or take everybody to lunch. Take them to dinner. Do something fun and exciting when you finished your project, right? The more you celebrate it, the more people have good feelings about continuous improvement, and the more incentivized they'll be to do it again in the future. The next step in the results 5 is reflection or Hansei. When you are done with your project, perform a quick lessons learned meeting. This literally takes 10, 15 minutes. You're only asking 2 questions. What went really well? Have people write their ideas. You're recognizing everyone for what went well. And then ask, how in the world can we do that again next time? How do we make sure we get that same success? So then you ask, what didn't go so well? And what could we do in the future to correct or maybe do that a little bit better? So maybe you didn't do a great job with your stakeholder analysis and you forgot to include some people that should have been included. Or maybe you didn't have the data collection skills that you really wished you'd had. Whatever that is, perform lessons learned so that every time you do the process, you can get a little bit better at it. Don't shy away from this. Again, this is part of a 15-minute wrap-up meeting that you're having with your team. And if you store this information so that other people can access it, or you can open it up when you start your next project, then it will become useful and meaningful. If your project didn't go perfectly, if it didn't go the way you really hoped it would, keep practicing. This is a picture of Alex Honnold, the guy who climbs rocks with no ropes, and he starred in the movie Free Solo. His quote is, "I try to expand my comfort zone by practicing the moves over and over again. I work through the fear until it's just not scary anymore." If your first continuous improvement project was a little scary and a little rough, don't worry, it gets better. I've been doing this for years, and it took me a while before I felt really confident. And now I can go into any company, any industry, and I know I can add value because if I follow the structured approach, I can help them solve basically any problem that they're having. And that's a really good feeling, but that didn't come overnight. That came through years of practice and working in, multiple industries with lots of different companies. So don't give up after your first Kaizen. Keep going, keep trying, follow the recipe. The best advice I can give you is stick to the DMAIC process as outlined in the DMAIC report out template. That will give you all the tools you need to be successful every time. Repurpose. The Japanese word is yokoten. So once you have completed a project and you've improved, say, the throughput or downtime of a piece of equipment, wouldn't it be great if everybody in the company knew about that and could apply those same skills to their area that has the same piece of equipment? That would be great. So you can share your knowledge and then learn faster as an organization, right? You guys don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. Learn a best practice, standardize the work around it, document it, and then just give it away. Give it to everybody else in the company. Now, there's a flip side to this that's a little bit harder. When somebody else does a project and they want to share it with you, this is where a lot of times I see pushback and resistance. They're like, whoa, we got to figure it out ourselves. We got to do our own value stream map and, get our own data and go through the whole project ourselves. Well, you can, but why? If somebody else has a project that has proven to work, their performance metric was here, and now it's up here, and they're clearly performing way better than they were before. Why not just adopt that as the new standard and run with it? So that is my recommendation. Try not to reinvent the wheel. Try to share and communicate every improvement that you make throughout the organization. And the last step of the results 5 is to raise the bar. Once you've completed a project, you should have a KPI that is dramatically better than it was before. You have 2 choices now. You can either go tackle a new KPI, go focus on a new area to improve, or you can simply raise the bar. We got a 10% improvement in our throughput. Let's go get another 10%. We reduced our downtime by 20%. Let's reduce it by another 10. You can always raise the bar, and that's a great way to just get your team excited about, hey, let's go do the next project. We never stop. And that is the last module in the Kaizen system. Let's do a quick recap to remind you of all the steps involved in implementing the Kaizen system in your company or team. Step number 1, you're going to identify a KPI to focus on, something you and your team can rally around. You're going to set a target for that KPI so that there's a gap between your current performance and that KPI. That gap that you have to close is the problem you are trying to solve. Step number 2, go and collect data, hour by hour, day by day. Every time there's a problem or something preventing you from reaching your goal, you need to put that down on a piece of paper or electronically and turn that into a Pareto. That Pareto chart is your opportunity Pareto. It helps your team identify the top things that you need to work on to help you achieve your goal. If you also have a value stream map or want to do a value stream map, this is a great time to do a value stream map, even without a project, just to identify where the problems are at and which problems you should solve. Step number 3, you're going to get your team's ideas. You're going to ask your team, what ideas do we have to fix the process? Which processes are broken that are preventing us from hitting our goal? You're going to take all those team ideas, and using your Kaizen idea card, you're going to prioritize those on an effort impact matrix. You're looking for low effort, high impact, followed by low effort, low impact projects, things you can get done quickly and get big results. Step number 4, you're going to use a structured problem solving approach. Use DMAIC, use PDCA, 8Ds, whatever approach you want to use, but use a structured scientific approach to solve the problem. You're going to go in one Kaizen event at a time. I strongly recommend doing a Kaizen event, a rapid improvement project that just takes a few days to try to get small wins and fix a few problems at a time, and then keep cycling and working toward that next goal, that next incremental goal, by doing more continuous improvement cycles. Finally, you're going into the results 5 phase. In the results 5 phase, you're reporting out on your project. You're recognizing and rewarding your team for the success that they're having. You're reflecting on what you could do better next time and what went really well. Then you're going to repurpose and share all of those amazing improvements with everyone else in the company so they can use and leverage the work that you've done. And finally, you're going to raise the bar and repeat the process. Just go back to your focus KPI or identify a new KPI to work on. Why is the Kaizen system so important? I can't tell you the number of companies I've gone into, and they've been through Lean and Six Sigma training. They started a program a year or 2 ago, but they just never got long-term sustained results. They did a couple of projects, maybe saw some quick wins, and then it just didn't go and didn't take off. Why not? Well, they never implemented the infrastructure, the systems of continuous improvement. That's what the Kaizen system is. It's the daily routines that you have to get into to make continuous improvement part of your daily language, your daily activities, and making improving metrics a key part of your everyday conversations. So how do you implement this? You need to go to the next module, which is the tiered meeting and daily huddles module. You're going to learn about level 1, level 2, and level 3, or tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 meetings. These regular rhythms, these regular meetings are what are going to allow communication to flow top to bottom, bottom to top throughout your organization. It's going to allow your team to regularly talk about focus KPIs, your Paretos, and your team's ideas, and then get everyone in the company involved with finding new solutions and countermeasures to those problems that you've identified. So now that you know what the Kaizen system is, learn about tiered meetings so you can implement the Kaizen system. That's what's next.